Yeah, so I'll go first. Like you kind of said, I was in the business world, so I kind of come from college coaching with a little bit different of approach than most. So I took a kind of a stipend position right out of the gate. But because I was in the business world and kind of was in sales and did some of that, I was kind of able to easily make that transition, which was good. And so basically, like you kind of pointed out, I mean, I've coached offensive side of the ball here. I've coached the defensive side of the ball, and obviously now I got the pleasure of being the special teams coordinator. Kind of before that, being in the high school ranks, you learn a lot, I think that really helped me transition into the college level, just with understanding and different things and understanding players that are at different levels, and different high school programs teach things differently, and being able to adjust to that and adapt to that has been kind of been a good thing for me, and has been an easy transition from that standpoint. So a little bit more background there.
For myself, you mentioned it after I got done in New Orleans, kind of in the middle of the high school football season, called my head coach after I'd taken a couple months off after finishing playing. He needed a defensive line coach, so that's where I started on a 2-win football team. I think we were 2-5 when I joined the team, and I think we won one game down the stretch. Not very good, but after doing that for a couple of years, I really wanted to get into the college level, and didn't have any success until I was putting in about 20 applications a week and trying to reach out to everybody I could. So Peru State was the first place to offer me a job, and I joined here in March of 2015 as a graduate assistant, and haven't looked back, and keep adding different titles to my name. So.
Yeah, one thing at the NAI level of football, you kind of become a jack of all trades. I mean, you're coaching all kinds of different stuff and doing all kinds of different stuff, within the realms of the football program and for the university. So, you keep getting those different titles and keep working and doing different things for the program.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, today alone, I cut the grass this morning, and was doing some special team stuff this afternoon. So just kind of, you wear, like you said, a lot of different hats, and there's when it comes down to it, most small schools, have 3 or 4 full-time guys, and everything football-wise has to kind of be delegated to all those guys and complete the task. So.
Yeah, I know when I was at Avila, we would have to go out and mark the field, about once a week. Me and the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We had 3 guys full-time on staff, our head coach, and then both coordinators were on staff full-time. And, as the GA, we'd go out and mark the field about once a week, and that was an interesting experience, having to go out and kind of do that. And that's really the only place that I've ever coached that, we were in charge of that as the coaches.
Yeah, well, that's part of my duties as a full-time employee is that. So luckily the field I have to mow is the old practice field. I keep telling everybody to make a really nice parking lot. So that's mostly just because I don't like mowing grass very much, but that's all right.
Yeah, I hear that. So you guys do have kind of a lot of guys on your roster that are from the Kansas City area. We'll list a few here. Anthony Speed from Raytown High School is going to be a junior. Landon Douglas from Center High School, also going to be a junior. Desmond Sturgis from Park Hill, he's going to be a senior. Mason Smith from Green Valley High School, he's going to be a junior. Jalen Sappho, again from Center High School, he'll be a sophomore. And Kevin Smith, also from Center, and going to be a sophomore. So, you guys have a pretty good footprint here in KC, and why don't you guys just tell us how it is recruiting Kansas City and coming down here and getting some of those athletes to come up and help you guys out?
Absolutely. We've been recruiting in Kansas City since at least the year before I got here in 2015. I think 2015 is when we really started to see the fruits of that labor. But I think as well as most people know, there's a lot of talent in the Kansas City area. I know most college coaches know that, and most all of them are stopping through there. So you got a lot of competition with some of the kids that you're trying to get, but obviously a lot of good football. And the guys that we've been able to get out of the Kansas City area, as long as they stick it out, they've been able to make a big impact for us. So I know in this particular class, I think we got one kid, Ronnie White from Raytown South, that jumps out of my head right now, but I believe there's 2 or 3 more of those guys. And then a few guys from, southern Kansas right there before we get to you guys in Kansas City.
Yeah, we do have good high school football here, on both sides of the state line. There's a lot of high schools, and, our head coach is always busy, in the spring with guys coming through, and when those recruiting times for NCAA are opened up, guys coming through and checking it out. But, so I'm glad that you guys are getting some Kansas City guys. I'm glad some Kansas City kids are able to get up there and help you guys out and, be a vital part of your program. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. We got to just get a few more. So, when you're looking for a place to play, let me know.
Yeah. I definitely, we in our 20 class, we might have a couple kids that be looking for somewhere to play. So we can definitely talk about that. And, I'll try to send those guys your way and, get their film to you, and you guys can evaluate them and, see if they're a good fit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, big thing is just getting them to campus, man. Get them to campus and see if it's a place that they can see themselves going to school and completing the academic side of things as well as competing on the football field.
The academic side is very important, and that's a big piece of, what you guys do up there. And I know that, you guys also have to make sure that that's a good fit for the kid, and the athlete has to make sure that the academic side is a fit for him as well before choosing the school. And that's why I always I encourage our guys, hey, go check out a bunch of different schools. Go take these visits. Go talk to these coaches, check out the academic stuff. And find out what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a big part. We feel like we're really successful when guys make the trip up to campus. Sometimes it's not always the easiest thing, especially nowadays or this last couple months with all the flooding we've had in the area, things like that. But usually when guys come up to campus, we're pretty successful.
Yeah, that flooding, it's been crazy. I know kind of north of us here, north of St. Joe a little bit, 29's closed, which, that's what runs right up there to Nebraska. From here, it's the shortest route. So I know travel, I had some friends that were going up to Omaha, and, they had to take a long way and kind of take a long route up there because of all that flooding.
Yeah, they probably drove right by us because that seems to be where all the traffic's going is up 75, which is about 5 miles, from Peru. So we definitely feel the impact. That's for sure.
Yeah, getting a little more traffic than normal, but that's not always a bad thing.
No,
so
not at all.
Let's kind of talk a little bit about your schedule for this fall coming up. You guys open with Missouri Valley College, home game. So it's always good to open at home. I know I've already started, kind of watching film on our week one opponent. You do want to take it one game at a time and not get ahead of yourself. Still got a lot of time between now and then, but, as coaches, we're always trying to prepare and get ready. So talk a little bit about Missouri Valley College. That's one of your wins from last year. Opening at home, you got to feel pretty good about this one.
Absolutely. Year-to-year comparison, last year we opened up with Hastings College here in Nebraska, and they're not a team that's in our league. So between going through all 11 of their games last year and trying to find as much information as possible and not really having any luck that way, coming into the year playing a team that, historically we've competed against for a long time, gives us a little more calmness, I guess, in the offseason planning wise. But we've already broken down our games that we're going to use to scout those guys this year. And we've already had more opportunities to get together as a staff than we had all last summer. So really excited, but a really, a tall task in front of us with a 4-year starter at quarterback, at least from a defensive perspective, a 4-year starter at quarterback and a bunch of experience at the skill position. So it's going to be a really good game for us.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, when you're going up against a guy, at that quarterback position. It's so important, and a guy that's started for 4 years and seen a lot of different looks, from defenses over the course, and having that experience, will definitely make it a tall task, for you guys defensively, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of schools in our league would be really happy to have him play him for them. He's a really good athlete, can run around as good as anybody in our league. He's got a great arm, throws it on the move just as well as he does standing behind the pocket. Just a really good player. So he's going to challenge us. And like I said, it just kind of sets the table for a really strong conference and what could be a really fun year.
Yeah, in the heart of America, there are no easy games, every week. I mean, you guys have more teams making the playoffs than any other conference. You got at Evangel, week 2, and then week 3 you play Benedictine back at home. They just played in the national championship game for NAIA last year, and so they look to build on that, and so the tall task week 2, going to Evangel, like I said, no easy games, and then week 3, having Benedictine come in and them just playing for a national championship. That's got to be a daunting task for you guys as well.
Yeah, for sure. Benedictine is obviously, coming off of a great year last year, and they definitely lose some guys, but they've done a really good job, and Larry over there does a great job of keeping guys around, and so they're never really, there's not a rebuilding year for them. It's kind of a reload, and so they're always going to put a good product on the field, and it's going to be a daunting task either way. Obviously there's been some shakeup in our conference a little bit by Adam Clark, and I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a bit. But Benedictine moving to the south, pulls them out of the north, and so it's definitely an important game, and it's a game that we look forward to. And we say around here, almost every day, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and we definitely have that opportunity to play the best of the best, in the nation at the NAIA level. So definitely a game we're excited about and we're looking forward to. But like you said, we got to take one game at a time. Missouri Valley is going to be tough, and then Evangel's coming off of a year that really arguably should have been in the playoffs and unfortunately didn't make it. But they're a team that is very capable of winning every game on their schedule as well. So it's one of those things you just, again, week by week, and sometimes for our guys, we got to break it down play by play. We can't even look ahead to the next series. We got to look at the next play. So.
Have a short memory when you're on the field, especially at some of those defensive back positions, the quarterback position, hey, it's always next play, because it seems like those guys take a lot of heat or get a lot of, the accolades when it comes to the success, or the heat when it goes wrong. But, you got to have those guys got to have a short memory and always be, hey, next play.
Absolutely. That's something we talk about a lot. We're really big on trying to shape our guys' mindset when they take the field and when they're going through some of that stuff and when it gets tough. And one of the day one things that we talk about is, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time. You can break it down as much as you want to, but you got to focus that hard to move on to the next task. So.
Yeah. And then week 4, you guys will make the trip down here, Kansas City area, play at Mid-America Nazarene University out in Olathe, and then play Baker back up at home. Then you go make the trip out to kind of central Missouri area and play Central Methodist out in Fayette, and then go to Clark over in Dubuque, Iowa, Culver Stockton back at home for your Hall of Fame weekend. Looks like that's an ESPN game there. At William Penn University at Grandview, and then wrap it up with Graceland at home on Senior Day.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we got some travel in there. Clark is a good 7.5, 8 hours away from us.